All of America must receive vaccine within 24 hours, as I said. I think this is incredibly important. Fair and equitable distribution of the vaccine throughout the country simultaneously. There is no haves and have-nots. It is an equitable distribution, and we are driving hard to make sure that that happens. Emergency use authorization. All of America must receive vaccine within 24 hours, as I said. I think this is incredibly important. Fair and equitable distribution of the vaccine throughout the country simultaneously. There is no haves and have-nots. It is an equitable distribution, and we are driving hard to make sure that that happens. Emergency use authorization. All of America must receive vaccine within 24 hours, as I said. I think this is incredibly important. Fair and equitable distribution of the vaccine throughout the country simultaneously. There is no haves and have-nots. It is an equitable distribution, and we are driving hard to make sure that that happens.
Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodash. Double honors of the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to the house of David, which is the elect, starting with the 144,000 of prophets, and the rest of the believers, the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, staying in the faith to the best of their ability, all right, and keeping the gospel and staying in the Holy Spirit day in and day out. All right, so what you just heard there, all right, was the DOD press conference of the U.S. military, and it's plain to see, okay, what he said, man. The mandatory vaccination, as soon as this vaccine is approved, they're going to use the military to mandate and enforce the vaccination upon all Americans. All right, as you said, there is no haves and have-nots, meaning they're not going to give anybody a chance to not take the vaccination. Okay, they're going to mandate the vaccination to be enforced upon all Americans within 24 hours of it being approved. So right there has to let you have to think, well, how are they going to do that? And it just said that the U.S. Army is going to be the ones to, it says the Army, all right, is going to be the ones to mandate and enforce the vaccination, all right, which is why, which you've been hearing with Operation Warp Speed, all right, Operation Legend, okay, all these things that they put out there, all right, Warp Speed, all right, is basically them saying that they're going to do this mandatory vaccination with fervency, man. Now here you have another article which came out on Monday, November 16th, from ABC 7 New York. It says New York will lead the way. Cuomo vows to mobilize army to vaccinate all New Yorkers fairly. All right, and they throw these words fairly and want to be equitable and all these things, but when you read, obviously, when you read between what is being said, they're saying that they're going to use the military to enforce the vaccination. Okay. Now, an interesting thing when you read this, and I'll read it, it says Governor Andrew Cuomo made a promise that New York will do a better job than all other states in the nation to get its residents vaccinated. Okay. It says he spoke from Riverside Church on Claremont Avenue on Sunday morning and vowed not to allow the injustice to continue. And the thing is, they're what's the word I'm looking for? Directing this vaccination towards you Israelites, man. All right. Why else you think he's in a church, giving a speech? All right. And there was another video, an article, I believe, actually, where it said that they need to have the spiritual leaders back them up and to get people to take this vaccination. The same thing that Margaret Sanger said when it came to the Planned Parenthood and getting you Israelites, specifically you Negro women, to have abortions. Okay, so let's keep reading. It says the governor said New York will mobilize an army. And that was key. When I read that, it said New York will mobilize an army. It didn't say the army, all right, because understand that these devils have the FEMA camp, all right, the FEMA, all right, you have FEMA troops, all right, and also you have the so-called the UN so-called peacekeepers, which they give authority to the American government gives the authority of the UN of these UN peacekeepers and these FEMA troops to basically take control over these operations. Okay, so it might not even be your average regular American American military personnel. It could be a foreign trooper, all right, or a whole separate private entity, the FEMA troops, man. Okay, and they show you that in these movies, all right, like that movie that never came out, The Gray State, where they have a type of militia group that is basically taking control over the governmental federal operations. All right, and why do you think also? Let's even say they do use the National Army, National Guard. Why do you think they was mobilizing all these different national guards all across these different states, man? And they were being seen largely in part in urbanized areas, man. Chicago, Detroit, New York City, LA, all right, Atlanta, all right, all those different videos that have been seen, that have been shown of Hummers and tanks, okay, and different militarized vehicles being moved in large scale, all right, on cargo trains, man, all right, are being seen, on highways. Just a busload, of military vehicles, man. They just came out and basically told you the reason why. All right, I'll read it again. It says the governor said New York will mobilize an army to make sure everyone is vaccinated, but he will need federal resources to do it. So he will have an army to make sure everyone is vaccinated. What if everyone doesn't want to be vaccinated? Well, that's when the army comes into play, because they're going to have a legislation, which you just said, legislation laws is being passed, where they're going to be able to come down in people's houses and say, by the order of 666, all right, of the U.S. government, we are ordered to take you in and vaccinate you. Okay. And I did a video, and I had a dream months ago that I was taken to a militarized hospital. All right. It was a military hospital somewhere in a rural area. Okay. And they had the military and have military doctors trying to force me to take the take the vaccination. Okay. But in order for me to take the vaccination, I had to give consent. But the way that they was trying to force people to give consent was by torture. And it's clear in my head, even though I had this dream, I believe it was in the summertime. All right. It was actually during, I don't know if I was fasting or not, but in that dream, I remember seeing military personnel, but they had doctors also. And I remember seeing their white coats, and they had me strapped down to a table. All right. And the doctor, he was on some crazy, torture methods, man. I remember one of the torture methods that they tried to do. The doctor had put on a grill. All right, it was a grill, but it had like sharp edges. Kind of looked like razor sharp edges, like a shark teeth. And he took my foot, and the doctors and the military personnel was holding me down, and they were saying to accept the vaccination, or they're going to start torturing me. All right. And when he started to torture me, he had in his mouth, like I said, he had those razor sharp teeth, and he started to bite on my toes. All right. And in my dream, I remember I was just, quoting scriptures in my head. And me quoting scriptures in my head, I remember specifically I quoted Revelation 3, Revelation 2 and 9, Revelation 3 and 10, and Isaiah 33 and 6. And when I was quoting those scriptures in my head, I couldn't feel the pain of the torture of him, basically taking my toes off. But I heard other people, because they had a lot of people. It was like I said, it was a big facility, and they had a lot of people behind glass windows, and I heard people screaming, all right, while they was being tortured. And I couldn't really see their faces, but I heard them screaming, and I remember hearing one person say, "Okay, I'll take it. Just please stop." All right. So hey, the Lord, He gives us visions and dreams, and I pray. In my dream, I was able to escape, out of that area. And when I was running outside, I can see that they had basically had it. They had a wall, and it was barbed wired. All right, the top was barbed wired. But long story short, these devils are going to enforce this vaccination, and understand that if they're passing legislation, they're going to give the orders to end army, whether it's the FEMA troops, the UN peacekeepers, or whether it's the actual National Guard or some other type of federal agency that is doing op code, different black ops, black ops operations. All right, in the name of Operation Warp Speed, okay, and they're going to go from door to door, town to town, and have people get vaccinated, man. When the Lord said this, which I'll get, or what should I say, and try to enforce people to get vaccinated. Lord said this in the book of what did open up? Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. It says, Salakia, 2 verse 10. That's what I meant to say earlier. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer." All right. "Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried." Now understand, why would this devil, because remember, this devil moves on his laws and legislations. Okay. So why would he be justified according to his laws and legislations? Why would he be justified in throwing us into prison? We're not committing any crimes as of right now. You see, us just speaking this word, even though it's a nuisance, even though it's casting down strongholds of this devil, all right, and they are passing different types of laws of calling it hate speech and this and that, but technically, we're not breaking any laws by going out there and teaching and by putting up these videos. But this devil, scriptures, Yahweh Shai said that this devil shall cast some of you into prison. Now, why would he be able to be justified to cast us into prison? Well, if they mandate this vaccination, as they just said that they were going to do, and we, as being faithful to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai and understanding what this devil is trying to do, we deny that vaccination, well, they'll be justified according to their laws to cast some of us into prison. It says that ye may be tried, that ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful until death, and I will give thee a crown of life. You see? So the tribulation, the times that we've been speaking about through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is clearly upon us, man. Okay? They have these big pharma corporations, and of course Pfizer, which is the biggest, one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies. Of course, they're the ones that are bringing out this vaccination, and you also have Moderna, also, and understand that they've been had the vaccination, man. All right, they've been had this plan. They've been had the what vaccination they were going to come out with. This devil is just moving, in a gradualism and in a time frame that he is trying to present. Okay. Why do you think since the beginning they've been always harping in and saying that they was going to use the army to mass produce and get the vaccination to make sure everyone is vaccinated? Why would the army be needed in order to make sure everyone is vaccinated? Okay. Why do you think they had all these different, because people are going to resist. All right. But once they start to throw people into prison, once they start to demonize these regular civilians and all these things, all right, once they also said that they were going to take away your federal assistance, your rental assistance, your food stamps, which a lot of people more and more are reliant on because of the shutdowns and all the layoffs and the furloughs. Okay. So they already have all these things planned up, man. So where it gets to the point where ultimately they're going to use this, and it's going to coincide with the chip. So you can have a digital ID, all right, or a immunity pass, so that you can be able to function in society again. All right, let's keep going. It says, Cuomo said that the black and brown communities is always you Israelites. The black representing you Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, all right, and the brown representing you Latinos and you Seminole and Native Americans, man. The Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom. And that's why they're always harping in on that, because it's you Israelites, Jacob, that these devils are consistently trying to attack, man, pursuant to the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter. They are confederate against you. All right, they want to cut you off. They want to cut you off from being a nation. All right, it says, Cuomo said that the black and brown communities have been impacted more greatly by COVID-19. And that's always been that rhetoric ever since this whole thing started too, that you Negroes and you Latinos and even you Native Americans are being affected more. All right, that your communities are at the highest risk. Basically putting that fear mongering fear factor into you Israelites, man. And it's working. Okay. And that's why a lot of you Israelites are going to line up to take this vaccination, not understanding that there's also been talk of having the vaccination coupled with a tracking device, man, aka the chip. It says, and he will not allow that to continue when a vaccination is ready for distribution. See, they got you Israelites on the numero uno on the list, who they're coming for. It says, because enough people have died and injustice have been done, it stops now. It stops with this vaccine. Cuomo said, we need to make special efforts. See, these devils got special efforts for you Israelites, man, with the vaccine to reach the undeserved black, brown, and poor communities. This is why you need to have your trust and faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. All right, this is why we've been talking about and preaching and warning about having a wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so that you can be stable in these times. While we've been speaking about the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua as a strong tower and the righteous run into and is safe. Okay? Because a lot of you who do not know, a lot of you who are unaware, who are ignorant, all right, as Yahushua say, let he that is ignorant, let him be ignorant still. You're going to be led right as a sheep into the slaughter, man. All right, a lot of you that go down to Egypt for help, the Lord said, what? Woe unto you that go down to Egypt, man. Egypt representing the government. Let me get that. All right. Hey, once again, man, the DOD, Department of Defense, I believe that's what that is. The Department of Defense, the Homeland Security, which have been buying up hollow tip bullets, all right, buying up and stocking up on ammunition. They just came out and said that they're going to mandate and enforce the vaccination on all Americans. There is no haves and haves not, man. Meaning nobody can resist, according to them. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, the elect will resist. All right, Isaiah 30, verse 2. It says, I'll start at 1. It says, woe unto the rebellious children that saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, that take counsel, but not of me, that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Yep, and that's what a lot of our people do. They're taking counsel from your quote unquote spiritual leaders, which is nothing but wolves in sheep's clothing. Okay, nothing but 501(c) charter in cahoots with the government. All right, taking counsel from your governor, your mayor, your president, your congressman, which are nothing but a bunch of Edomites, okay? But you're not taking counsel from the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, which comes from the prophets. It says that walk to go down unto Egypt, that they have not asked at my mouth. Yeah, and you Israelites are not asking at the Lord's mouth. You're not inquiring of the counsel of the Lord, man, because if you were, you'll be listening to the prophets, the servants, the prophets, who the Lord have sent since the days of Egypt to warn you and to give you guidance and understanding to what to do. All right. It says that strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Okay. And that's what's going to happen. A lot of you people are going to end up confused. All right. And because you're confused, because of your lack of knowledge, you're going to go down into Egypt, and that's going to be into your shame, man. Okay. That's going to be to your shame. And these devils, they are moving with fervency, man. They're moving with the quickness. And here it goes right here. Let me read this. It says, we need to make special efforts with the vaccine to reach the undeserved Black, brown, and poor communities. The private market alone will not do it. So they need the public market. They need the government to step in. We need to enlist community groups to distribute the vaccine in their communities. We need faith-based groups that the community trusts to distribute the vaccine. You see, that's why do you think these pastors, they don't teach the truth? Why do you think that they get tax exemptions, all right, from these buildings, these $1 million buildings that they have, man? Because they're in a coordinates, they're in league with the devil, man. All right. That's why you think they're only talking about prosperity and a whole bunch of BS, and they're never actually going into the scriptures and breaking it down, telling you the true name of the Heavenly Father, the true name of His Son, telling you an Israelite, all right, telling you to stop sinning. All right, they say, come as you are. God forgives, God loves. They don't tell you about the wrath. They don't tell you and warn you about the evil days to come because of this situation right here. And they will become what? And they become wax rich, man. And because of why? Because of this situation that we're in right now. That's why they said we need the faith-based groups, because they know you Israelites are spiritual people, but you're being led, you're being blind leaders of the blind, man. Okay? And that's why a lot of you Israelites, you're going to get caught up. Okay? That tribulation is going to come upon you as a whirlwind, and you're not going to be able to escape it. And that's why these devils said that what? Once again, they're mandating this vaccine. I'm gonna play that. Let me play that again. Yeah, bear with me. It's a lot here.
Use authorization. All of America must receive vaccine within 24 hours, as I said. I think this is incredibly important. Fair and equitable distribution of the vaccine throughout
U.S.
the country.
Army to be used to enforce mandatory vaccinations.
There is no haves and have-nots. It is an equitable distribution, and we are driving hard to make sure that happens.
So, hey, man, you can't say you haven't been warned. You can't say you didn't know. You can't say it's not fair, because the Lord gave you the warning, man. Sending His prophets, B times, rising up early, okay, and sitting upon that watchtower. All right. And the time is coming also, which is another quick article that I'll read, where we're not going to be able to warn you anymore. All right. Because they're going to do what? They're going to silence the discussion, which is what the title is right here. Silencing discussion. UK Labour Party demands online crackdown on anti-vax disinformation ahead of COVID vaccine rollout. All right. So they're actually bringing legislation over in the UK, and you know what happens in the UK happens in America. All right, it's all Westernization culture. It's all the beast system. All right, the NATO and the EU. Okay, so they're cracking down on anything that speaks against what their plans are. It speaks against what the government says, man. There is no more freedom of speech. It's just freedom of saying the things that are in agreement with what the government is saying, man, aka worshiping the beast. All right, it says, with the UK preparing for a COVID-19 vaccine rollout, the Labour Party is calling for emergency censorship legislation to punish social media companies, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, so on and so forth, Periscope, if they allow posting of what is considered to be anti-vax disinformation. Social media companies have a pitiful record of tackling disinformation, shadow culture. Secretary Joe Stevens tweeted Sunday, the government needs to stop dragging its heel and force companies to remove this dangerous content ahead of the rollout of the coronavirus vaccine. Meaning what? If we are teaching that don't take the vaccine, trusting Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, guess what? That's anti-vaccine disinformation, and these videos are going to be immediately taken off the web. All right? and then they're going to delete our accounts, ban us from using YouTube, and AKA what? That is the famine of the word, man. All right. It says Stevens and Labor Shadows Health Secretary Jonathan Ashworth have co-authored a letter demanding that the government impose financial and criminal penalties on social media platforms that fail to censor anti-vaccine posts. All right. So they do what? They sanction YouTube and tell YouTube, we're going to sanction you. We're going to impose financial and criminal penalties on your company if you do not get rid of these videos and posts that say anything against the vaccine. And what is the hot topic that the prophets have been speaking about? Is this vaccination, because this vaccination is going to lead to the RFID chip also being mandated, man. Okay, digital ID, because that's what they've been talking about, your COVID immunity pass, and it's all digitalized methods that they're trying to use. It says the government must deal with some dangerous nonsensical anti-vax stuff that we've been spreading on social media, which erodes trust in the vaccine, Ashworth said. And that's going to be another reason why they're going to be able to throw us into prisons, because they're going to deem us public health risk, enemy of the states, because we're teaching about the gospel of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and warning our people about the wickedness and the wrath of this devil that he's doing, man. Okay, but they're going to say that what? We're extremists. It says he added that the government will need strong public health messaging to ensure the legitimate questions are answered and fears are allayed. All right, so it says Facebook, Twitter, and Google, which YouTube is owned by Google, agreed last week to help the UK government to blunt the spread of vaccine misinformation and disinformation. So they're all in cahoots. Your Mark Zuckerberg's, all right, the owners of Google, all right, which is the owners of YouTube. They're all in cahoots with the government. All right, Zuckerberg being a rat himself, you think he just got to that point, by himself? No, man. These people are lower level luminaries, man. Insiders. It says the companies promise to help spread government promoted messaging, government promoted messaging. So that's what these companies are eventually only going to allow on their platforms. Anything that is governmented promoted. Anything that's speaking against the government, that's speaking against the system, which the Lord demanded us and required us to do. All right. Jeremiah 28:8, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old, both prophesied against many countries and great kingdoms of war and evil of pestilence. Well, guess what? That time is going to stop, because it's going to be against their policies to speak against anything that is not promoted by the government, aka the famine of the word. All right. And when you don't have the knowledge and the wisdom and understanding, and you don't have the words, okay, that the Lord has given to the prophets to warn the people, to give you the understanding and knowledge to know what to do in these times, what are you going to do? Where are you going to run to? That's why I told you in the book of Second Ezra, I believe it's the 5th chapter. Let's see. Second Ezra chapter 5 verse 10. It says, and shall be sought of many, Salakia, verse 9. It says, and salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Then shall wit, all right, which is what? Wisdom, hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself from his secret chambers, and shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. Okay? So it's going to be sought of many in this time, but it's not going to be found. All right, it says, then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied upon the earth. Unrighteousness, all right, and incontinency, which is what? Basically the having no self-control over the lust of your flesh. All right, which you're seeing happen daily. It says, in one land also shall ask another and say, is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say no. Why? Because the men that is bringing forth the words of righteousness are going to be silenced, which is ultimately from the Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, because that means that the elect are sealed, and everybody else that didn't get the warning, that didn't heed, that didn't repent, then hey, it's just time for your judgment, man. All right, and that judgment is going to come by way of this devil's wrath. And I'll end it out with these couple last scriptures. A book of Second Ezra, chapter 16, verse 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. All right, and that's what that's the DOD, Department of Defense. That's that burning wrath. This government, your UN peace, so-called peacekeepers. Okay, your FEMA troops. They shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And that's what this vaccine and leading up to this chip is, man. It's an idol that they're going to put into you. All right. And you being idle, you not being a watcher, you not being on your watchtower, not paying attention. All right. As Yahweh Shai said, watch therefore and pray always. But instead of you being idle, being drunken, being indulged in the cares of this life, you're going to be taken and offered and accept these things that are offered unto idols, man. It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in a reproach and trodden underfoot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And then how is that great insurrection going to happen? Because of the ones who deny taking that vaccination, all right, saying that it's against our beliefs, it's against our customs, it's against what our power tells us to do. So there's going to be that great insurrection in every place and in the next cities, because they once again are going to use the U.S. Army or the UN peacekeepers or the FEMA camps, the FEMA troops, or a conglomerate of all of them all together to enforce it. It says, and they shall be like madmen, sparing none. Your women, your children, your kids, your auntie, your uncle, your grandparents, all right? They're not going to spare nobody, man, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Going back to Revelation, the 2nd chapter, 10th verse. All right. The devil shall cast some of you into prison. Well, they're going to come into your houses and cast you out of your houses by way of legislation XYZ. We are ordered to remove you from your house and bring you to this FEMA camp because you have not been vaccinated. And now you are deemed a public threat. You will remain in this place until you consent unto taking this vaccination, till you consent unto taking this chip. That's what this devil is doing, man. It says, then shall they be known who are my chosen. And that's when the Lord, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, is going to lift up that standard amongst his chosen. That's when he's going to give us the ability to back these devils up, man. All right. That's when he's going to give us the strength to fight against these devils. Whether it be by way of disappearing, whether it be by way of giving us super spiritual powers, the Lord's going to make his chosen known, man. And they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Okay? So when this devil makes his move, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to make his move, man. And that's what we got faith in. And that's why we are so adamant and teach about not conceding to this devil's wrath, man, because he is going to come with that wrath pursuant to Revelation 12 and 12. He is going to use his military, his guns, his weaponry, his prisons, all these things to enforce it, man. But we know that greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. And Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is going to fight for us, man. Okay? So, with that, Lord willing, I end it there. This was edifying unto the elect. Hey, this devil's on the move. Hey, but it's good. It's great times to be in this truth, man. And for all you that's playing around, all right, or for all you that think this is a game, hey, you about to see how serious this devil's wrath is, especially as they've been saying upon you Israelites, all right, what they call you black and brown communities, man. All right, thinking that Biden was your savior. Think again, man. All right, think again, because he's with the shits. You can go on Google and YouTube and see all the shit that Biden that has said throughout his years in the government. All right, about the New World Order. All right, about taking you Israelites and throwing into prisons. all right, about the RFID chip. Okay? He didn't mention all these things, man. So, with that, call Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakak Wadash. Till next time, Shalom.